my dear friends. It is Sunshine, the pink-haired psychic medium here today to talk to you about what the difference is between a psychic and a medium, right? So we're going to talk about that today. And while we do that, we're going to answer a couple of other questions. Is a psychic the same thing as a medium? You're going to learn about that. Can anyone become a psychic medium reader? I mean, I don't know, but we'll discuss that piece. And then how would you become one if you're interested in it? So let's go ahead and explore that today and start by talking about what the difference is between a psychic and medium. And in order to do that, there's a couple of questions that I know I often get, and they show up in a number of different variations, right? So is a psychic the same thing as a medium is one of the very first ones. So is a psychic the same thing as a medium, right? And so when we explore that, when we explore what the difference is between being a psychic and a medium, being a clairvoyant and a medium, being an empath and a psychic, right? So what are the differences between these things? You kind of start to understand more, right? Is it the same thing, right? Is it the same thing? So if you've caught my other video, you're gonna have learned a bit more about, is a psychic medium real, right? But now we're talking about just literally what is the definition of a psychic medium. So a psychic itself is an individual that is using all of its psychic abilities in order to understand information that they wouldn't otherwise know. And a medium is someone that is able to connect to spirits on the other side. These can be past loved ones, spirit guides, angels, entities, deities, anybody that you may work with that is kind of like across the veil, right? And so a psychic is not the same thing as a medium, right? A psychic is not the same thing as a medium. So a psychic who is using all of their psychic abilities can use their psychic abilities, their clairvoyance, their ability to see, right? To see spirits on the other side, to see entities on the other side, to see energy on the other side of the veil, right? So the difference between a clairvoyant and a medium, there really isn't that drastic of a difference, right? It's are you using your clairvoyant abilities to see spirits on the other side, or are you using your clairvoyant abilities, your clairvoyant psychic ability for other purposes, maybe to see scenes or situations in the future or how things would happen, right? So the difference between a clairvoyant and a medium is what are you using your clairvoyant abilities for? Right? So there's not really a tremendous difference between the two because a medium very often has clairvoyant abilities. A medium very often chooses to use their psychic ability of sight to see spirits. That's how they are able to describe what they see, right? So then we also ask the question of what's the difference between a psychic and a clairvoyant, right? There is none. If you are a clairvoyant, you are a psychic. Right? If you are a clairvoyant, you are a psychic. Those are just different titles for the exact same thing, right? They are just different titles for the exact same thing, right? Like, so a spiritual advisor could be a spiritual advisor. A priest could be a pastor. I mean, there may be distinct, but it's a different title for the same thing. So there is no difference between a psychic and a clairvoyant. Another question that is often asked is what is the difference between an empath and a psychic? And so this one is a little bit trickier, right? And so you have to understand that an empath is an individual that is able to feel the energy of another person, right? An empath can feel the energy of another person. That energy of that other person is very often a response to some type of emotion that they're feeling, right? And so that ability to feel someone else's energy is often tapping into the ability, the psychic ability, the clair that we call clairsentience, right? So that literal, tangible, I'm able to feel and witness and experience. And so our own, auric body, our own energetic body, once it is able to be in the presence of, or even, if you're strong enough, remotely, we can feel that empath side of us can feel, right? Can feel the other person's energy. And so what the difference is really the understanding of those psychic abilities, right? So if we do not clearly understand how psychic abilities work, how the clairs show up, then we're not going to realize that we're using our psychic abilities, and that is why our empathic nature tends to be so strong. So I really do believe that if you are identify as an empath, there is a high probability you're using more of your psychic abilities than you realize, right? Which begs the question, can anyone become a psychic reader, right? Can anyone become a psychic reader? Yes, yes, I absolutely 100% believe anyone can. Right now, is that everyone's path? Is that everyone's highest and best use, in their particular lifetime? That's a different question that we can answer at some point. But yes, I believe anyone can become a psychic medium reader. I believe that every single one of us has psychic abilities, that we can use those psychic abilities to connect with loved ones or spirits or energies on the other side. And so you might be wondering then, what are some signs that you are a psychic medium, that you're already using these abilities, right? And so I already shared with you one of those signs, and that is you identify as an empath. You are deeply moved by other individuals, right? By the way that they're feeling, the emotions that they're feeling, the experiences that they're feeling. Another thing is you have very vivid dreams. So if you are a dreamer and you have very vivid dreams, and I have recognized working with all of the folks that I have, that is a sign that your clairvoyance and your ability to visualize and see things is a lot stronger than you may realize. So our clairvoyance tends to show up in our dreams first. The other piece, and this is one that I love. So these are like kind of the three, right? That empathic is that tie to our clairsentience. Dreaming is our tie to our clairvoyance. And the last one is the clairaudience tie. And so this is like, you hear songs, you hear things, you can often translate like conversations into lyrics, right? Or lyrics or music speaks to you. That is a third sign that you are a psychic, that you have psychic abilities. This is what I've seen as a constant amongst every single individual that I've spoken to, that I've mentored, that I've coached. These are all very common signs that you're actually leveraging and using your psychic abilities and don't even realize it. So the question then you may be having is, okay, cool, I've got them. How do I become a psychic medium? How do I figure out how to strengthen and tap into and use these? Maybe you want to be sitting in my chair, providing this kind of guidance, advice. Maybe you want to be working one-on-one with clients, right? Or maybe you just want to create a spectacularly wonderful, beautiful life for yourself and want to leverage those abilities to do so, right? So at that particular point, whether you're a psychic versus a medium, I don't know that it matters so much, because you are going to be tapping into those abilities, right? Working on one versus the other, to me, working on both really is what matters. And so there's a couple of things that I recommend if you are trying to become a psychic medium. And that very first thing is talk to a psychic. Have a conversation with a psychic medium that you know, that you're interested in, that you have met with before. And don't just go and ask them questions around your life. Ask them about them. Ask them about their experience. Ask them how they developed their gifts. Ask them how they practiced. being a psychic medium, right? Talk to them. Talk to a psychic medium and find out what their experience was like. Because the thing that I've learned and realized is that every single one of us has a different journey to developing our gifts. It's not just like one thing. Yes, there are like schools and certifications, right? There are literally things that you could go do very specifically, but talking one on one to a psychic first, to me, is one of the most powerful ways to find out how to become a psychic medium yourself. And the next thing that I tell you is listen to different psychic podcasts, watch different psychic videos, right? You know, if you're digging this stuff, subscribe, like it, comment it, reach out, email me, right? Make sure you're paying attention and listening, because very often psychic mediums themselves are telling and explaining to you the various different scenes, situations, and stories where these gifts show up, and they're probably already happening to you. They are probably already happening to you. So that's always the very first place that I suggest. So I'm curious, which one are you going to try first? Are you going to talk to a psychic that you may know? Or are you going to reach out and listen to some psychic podcasts or videos? Your choice.